Welcome back to day 22 of the 100 horror films in 31 days. I got in 4 films today, so I'm getting closer to reaching the 100 mark. First up, I watched Necromancy, 1972, directed by Burt Gordon. Of course, Burt Gordon did Food of the Gods, The Spider. I mean, he's done all kinds of B pictures. Um, Necromancy stars Orson Welles as a cult leader who basically he's trying to bring back his dead son. That's the basic storyline. Interesting watch. I give it a 6 out of 10. I actually watched a fan cut on YouTube. This film had some issues, and it was re-released as The Witching, which included a bunch of nudity, and it was a kind of a bastardized version of the original film. Um, but this fan cut was, I think, very coherent, at least from what I saw. I haven't seen all cuts of this film, but I did think it was a decent film. Yeah, I would recommend it. Check it out. It's called Necromancy, 1972. I give it a 6 out of 10. Um, then I watched one of my favorites from 1967, and that is The Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism. This comes from the Christopher Lee box set that Severin put out. Chris Lee plays Count Regula, who at the start of the film is, uh, well, basically he's condemned to death, and he gets a spiked mask on his face, a la Black Sabbath or Black Sunday, and then he's drawn and quartered by horses, and his extremities are pulled off. You know, his arms and legs. He is brought back to life by his henchmen, and he's seeking revenge. Basically, he's trying to collect the blood of virgins because that'll give him eternal life. That's basically the story. Very gothic, beautifully shot. It's a great film. I love it. One of my favorite Euro films. Um, a breezy, fun watch, definitely. Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism. It was directed by Harold Reinl, who, I mean, he did a number of B pictures, mainly action-oriented B pictures. But yeah, this is a fun one. Definitely recommend it. It's a German production. This has audio commentary, special features, interviews. I haven't checked it all out, but definitely recommend that Chris Lee box set from Severin if you haven't picked it up. All right, next up is another Severin release. This is one that probably the whole world, I hope the whole world got this. 1974's Blood for Dracula. Yeah, this is Andy Warhol. Really, Paul Morrissey directed this. I mean, it's got Andy Warhol's production stamp on it, but I think it's pretty much Paul Morrissey that did it. Udo Kier in one of his best roles as Count Dracula. And it's not your normal Count Dracula. This Count Dracula is weak, dying essentially because he can't find virgin blood. He needs virgin blood to survive. And so he treks out to Italy. He treks out to Italy and finds this count who's desperate for money, who has all these daughters that he's going to try to ingratiate himself. And of course, all the daughters are promiscuous as hell and causes him, when he bites them, to vomit. So it's crazy stuff. Joe D'Alessandro is in it. So you get this very European, particularly the dialogue, and then you got Joe D'Alessandro with this Brooklyn accent in the middle of it. It's wild stuff. One of my favorites. I think it's an underrated masterpiece. I really do. I think it's a fascinating take on the whole vampire mythos. Apparently, Udo Kier ate nothing but like lettuce and drank water for like a month in order to get like just skin and bones. This release is packed, as you can see. This release has got a CD soundtrack. The music's fantastic in this, by the way. Uh, Claudio Rizzi did the music for this, I think. Let me see. Yeah. Anyway, this is definitely one to own. I think this is a must purchase, as well as that release of Flesh for Frankenstein that's coming out before the end of the year. But you got the CD soundtrack and a Blu-ray DVD. Lots of special features on it, which I haven't checked out yet, but I definitely will. Great stuff. Highly recommend that one. All right, next up. This is my second watch. 2020 is The Empty Man. Yeah, I watched this streaming. David Pryor directed this, and I thought this was a fascinating film. Very metaphorical. The first 20 minutes of this, basically the pre-title sequence, is just cinema gold. Fantastic setup for the film. These hikers are out in the Himalayas, and one of the hikers stumbles upon this grave burial site under the ground. It's a spooky, atmospheric film. The only issue I have with this is, and I think it's as common, I've heard this a lot, is that the running time is 2 hours and 15 minutes. Probably could have been shortened. But it really is an interesting film about evil transference. I mean, The Empty Man essentially is a mechanism by which the other side, if you will, can transfer over using a vehicle, a person that essentially is an empty soul that they can transfer. Very, very strange film. It took a like I say, I watched this twice. I thought it was very interesting, well acted. The lead actor in this, James Badge Dale, I thought he did a great job. Marin Ireland, good stuff. Good well acted, fascinating. I'm surprised this one didn't. Apparently, this film kind of bombed. In fact, I think when I was reading about it, the production people were like dubious about even releasing it on Blu-ray or DVD. They just figured it wasn't going to make any money. I don't understand it. I mean, I think it's one of the most underrated films of 2020 in my opinion. Great stuff. So yeah, that's going to do it. That's my watches for day 22, and appreciate you watching.